Panther people, what up? I'll let you know how I think the Panthers did in day 2 of the draft. What's going on? You watch your Panthers post. All right, let's talk about what the Panthers have done thus far in day 2, round 2. I said before I was not going to wait to pick 57. And I guess Dan Morgan and company, we're not going to wait either. That is a long time. And there are some serious dudes who are getting picked before the Panthers traded up, before they decide to trade up and make me a very happy man. Make V a very, very happy man. Let's take a look at some of the rounds here leading up to their eventual pick of Nick Scorton, defensive end out of Texas A&M via Purdue. So leading up to that, okay, let's go to the second round just to recap leading up to that pick. So you had to think that the Panthers are getting a little edgy there. I'd love to see what their draft board was. I don't know if they're done drafting, if they're going to do anything else, but and they're going to have the press conference. They're going to say, maybe give it a little bit of a hint on who was on their draft board. They mentioned in day 1 that Mason Graham was pretty high up there, but you had to think, okay, Nick Emenwari, he got picked up with the Seattle Seahawks. He had to have been on their list. And then you get TJ Sanders, Alfred Collins, Donovan Ezeraku. That was, an apple of many people's eye. I forget the cat out of PFF, but he basically suggested that Donovan Ezeraku should be a first-round pick, should be the right pick for the Panthers ahead of Jalen Walker, and everyone was pretty hot and heavy, pretty darn sure that Jalen Walker was going to be the pick at 8. JP Tuomalau out of Ohio State, an edge rusher, so they must have thought Demetrius Knight, linebacker out of Carolina, South Carolina, they must have thought that, hey, like our board's getting eaten up right now. We need to move up. And so they did an 8-pick swap with the Denver Broncos to move up from 57 to 51 to get Nick Scorton. And just to let you know, like who was picked up in that time, no defensive ends, none. But since then, yeah, okay, so Mike Green, who had the character issues, he eventually got picked up by the Baltimore Ravens. Shamar Turner, Orma Norman Lott. Right. So a couple guys got picked up after Nick Scorton. And so they probably thought, okay, let's move up. Let's not wait. Because you would think a Nick Scorton would not get by Green Bay. He would not get by Tampa Bay. He would maybe not get by the Bears, not get by the Los Angeles Chargers. So they thought, okay, we need to jump these guys right now to get our guy. Nick Scorton just gives you everything you want. NFL.com has him compared to Trey Hendrickson, defensive end from the Cincinnati Bengals, a guy who Panther fans wanted to pay big money to, and the man is in his 30s. Nick Scorton is a good decade plus younger than Trey Hendrickson. And man's going to be 21 years old by the start of the season. He's around 6'3", 257 pounds, but Daniel Jeremiah from NFL.com said he played close to 280 this year at Texas A&M, which obviously if you add like 20 plus pounds to your weight, you're not going to be as quick, as efficient, as sprightly. But during his pro day, if that's what 280 looks like, ridiculous. I think he's back down to 257. I think that's going to work out well for him. But again, he's got the energy. He's got the battery. He's got the juice. He's got the motor. However you want to say, he's got energy. We talked about Jalen Walker. One thing we loved about him is that he played like his hair was on fire. Nick Scorton is at true blue edge doing exactly that. There's no messing around with hybrids. Like that is what he does. He's got the heavy hands. He's got a nifty spin move. He moves. He's aggressive. You could try to double team him, but he'll bull rush you. He's a massive man for 6'3", 257. Obviously, we know he can gain weight, but just a big move. Just a big move for Dan Morgan and company. He always talks about bringing the fear to the logo, and they're building this defensive line. I know, but me personally, my reaction to Tetron McMillan getting drafted wasn't a great one initially. I'm sold now. I am sold on what they're doing with him, and it's not just because I look like him. But I think Dan Morgan, what he's doing right now with the defense, I only hope now that they double dip. I hope they double dip on defensive end, and I think that'd be dope. If they can double dip a defensive end and that be it, and then they can focus on whatever happens with the rest of their board, grab a safety. I think they're going to get in the running back, maybe some depth on the offensive line, a kicker. Wow, that'd be good. Nick Scorton, I love him. And the way he speaks, we talk about how, again, Jalen Walker, because he was the apple of everybody's eye. And he's a coach's son, sounded like a leader. Nick Scorton sounds like a damn leader. Says he hates losing. Absolutely hates it. Sure, you say that in an interview, like, what's your biggest fault? Oh, my biggest fault? I work too hard. But he said it. And I can't believe he's only 21 years old. He looks like a jacked up Clinton Portis. If you know who Clinton Portis is, he looks like Clinton Portis on HGH, hormone replacement, friggin' horse blood. Just freaking inject all that into my veins right now. Our defense is going to be scary again. I need to save money, but I already got a Tet McMillan jersey in my head. Nick Scorton could be the future. I mean, he literally is 20 years old. Like, he could be here for 10 years and not even his prime. Damn. All right. So I just got a tip from my guy, Edgar Salmingo Jr., and he just sent me a tweet saying the Panthers have moved up in the draft. So they already traded up in the second round to pick Nick Scorton. And now it looks like they've made a trade to move up in the third round. So they did a pick swap. It was a 8-pick total pick swap with the Denver Broncos. Still F them for Super Bowl 50. But I digress. They then traded. I don't have the details of the trade as of yet, but they have moved up to pick 77 in the third round. And I think it's going to be for a safety. I don't think Makuba has been picked up yet. That Winston cat out of Penn State, I don't think he's been picked yet. But right now, so the Nick Martin linebacker, Oklahoma State, he just got picked up by the San Francisco 49ers. Then it's the Dallas Cowboys at 76 and the Carolina Panthers at 77. Initially, they were picking in the 80s, and that was not great. I was willing to wait for that. So they picked Nick Scorton earlier in the second round. They moved around. They picked like that. I think it was Joe Person who said that Dan Morgan and company are going to be aggressive in trading up and getting the guys that they want. Now, he talked about when they picked up Tetairoa McMillan. I'm calling him Tetairoa McMillan because that's what his mama named him, but they're following their board. And if they start seeing dudes that they want potentially at risk of being picked, they're moving up. Okay, so the Cowboys had just picked Siobhan Ravel Jr. out of East Carolina. He came out with an ACL injury, so that's on the mend. And so he dropped heavily. I saw him in multiple mock drafts getting picked late in the first round. So looks like injury is a big concern for a lot of people. So now the Panthers are on the clock. Panthers are on the freaking clock, going from, I think it was 81 or 84 up to 77. I got to see. They haven't released the details of the trade as of yet. But again, I think they traded up in the second round to get Nick Scorton, as I mentioned before, that they probably saw some of the guys that they wanted starting to fall. Donovan Ezeraku got picked up by the Dallas Cowboys. He may have been on maybe right above Nick Scorton on their big board. And so they probably said, hey, you know what? That's the next guy to this is Nick Scorton. We're not going to wait until 57. So they did their pick swap with the Denver Broncos, who is also a team that could have threatened to be picking up a defensive player because they're still building that defense. They moved out from 57 to 51 and got themselves Nick Scorton, a 20-year-old defensive end. But right now, let's talk about Panthers moving again. Moving again. Now, I know we got excited when Scott Fitterer was moving around a bunch. Ended up not working out in our favor. And we know the Panthers need to nail these day 2, day 3 picks. They're pretty good at first round picks. It's those day 2, day 3 picks they got to figure out. Here we go. Chuba Hubbard, Canada in the house. Safety, got to be a safety. Let's go. Hey, I just tweeted this that they could double dip in round 3 at edge. Wow. 6'4" and 3/4, 244 pounds. Oh, wow. Wow. Hey, we were pissed off that he didn't get Jalen Walker. I was kind of mentioning before, I was kind of scared with the Atlanta Falcons. They picked up not just Jalen Walker, but James Pierce Jr., but the Carolina Panthers, after getting who they thought was pretty high on their board, and Tetro McMillan, what many analysts believe was the best wide receiver in this draft. They don't just get. First of all, Jalen Walker was a hybrid player. I've already talked about in the last video. He was a hybrid player, and normally first round hybrid players just do not pan out. They trade up in the second round to get Nick Scorton, who is a massive man, playing at 280 pounds. I think in his pro day, he was around 257. Look at lean and mean, more like his Purdue days. He is a pure edge rusher who can move inside as well. He's got the heavy hands. He's got the spin move. He's got the motor. He's got the juice. He's got youth on his side. He is turning 21 by the start of the season. And then right after that, the Panthers select Princely Umanamilan out of Penn State, who has got the speed, who's got the length, who's got the get off. He just got to get the finish, and he's going to get that. Who better to learn from than someone like Jadeveon Clowney, DJ Wonnum in the building, Derek Brown in the building. You got some veterans in the building. You got Turt Wharton, who won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. He is going to coach these guys up. Nick Scorton's got that motor. He's going to add that competitiveness with Princely Umanamilan. Whoa. Double dip at edge. I didn't think double dip at edge would happen in round 2 and 3. I thought it was going to be 1 and 2, but they're having on Bryce, and now they're going to be getting the quarterback. They're going to be stopping the run. They're literally, Dan Morgan is improving this team like piecemeal, like bang, bang, bang. He's just hitting it like whack-a-mole, boom, boom, boom. Whoa. Okay, let's get the details of this trade. Putting on X. X gonna give it to you. Okay, Dan Morgan with the pick. Okay. The Panthers traded up with New England to 77 and doubled down at edge Ole Miss Princey Manamilan. Okay, I know that. So Panthers on the clock traded 85, so that was their third round pick, and 146, fifth round. So that is one of their 3 first round picks. So I mentioned this before. 3 fifth round picks. I believe they had 2 fourths. They used those 3 fifth round picks and moved up. I thought they were going to move up in the second one to go even higher than 51, but hey, they got 51. They got Nick Scorton, who our guys, Ricky, as well as Edgar Samingo, they ranked Nick Scorton in the first round, and they move up from 85 and 46. They get those, they couple them together, move with the Patriots to 77. So let's get more of the details here. This is from the Panthers Twitter account. So yeah, they get 85, which they were picking at in round 3. I wasn't willing to wait for that. Okay, by the way, wow. Okay, so Higgins and Jalen Noel go. I don't think Higgins is going to the Texans, but they just got Jalen Noel, who that'd be kind of fun. But we got Tetro. So we moved up at a pick 85, which again, that was a long wait. And they used one of their 3 fifth round picks, which I think makes a lot of sense. I don't know what the value is going to be like. Those are mainly like depth players in the 5th round to move up to get Princely, a guy who had a visit with the team, who was the apple of many people's eyes, including yours truly. Wow. Just crazy. Like just looking at this draft right now, Dan Morgan is being disciplined. He's being coordinated. He's not panicking, and he's making the right moves in the right spots. Now, mind you, still haven't gotten another safety here. There's still like the Justin Blackmons out there, the free agents, like pro free agents who are available after the draft. Maybe they can work something out. But right now, it's Damani Richardson and Trayvon Moehrig. They got to get somebody to draft, but I haven't seen too many safeties besides Nick and Warrig getting picked up right now. So there's still some dudes out there who could be available in the 4th round, which is going to be tomorrow. They could work something out. But again, seeing Dan, now he's got 2 fifth round picks and a 6th. They can still kind of package some of those together, try to move up. Try to move up in the 4th, try to get, a solid safety. Let's just double check to make sure those guys are still available. Why is it not letting me? So Kevin Winston Jr., who had the ACL, he's still available. Xavier Watts, who I thought had a 2nd round grade. Jonas Sanker, Billy Bowman, RJ Minkins, Jalen Reed. Those guys right there. 5 safeties still available. And we are getting towards the back end, the middle back end of the 3rd round. So there's definitely room to try to trade up. You still got 2 fifth-round picks and a 6. You could try to package those together, try to move up in the 4, try to get those safeties and impact, like, highly ranked safety to improve that back end of the defense. Just unreal. Unfriggin' real. Wow. All right, so let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about Dan Morgan, what he's done thus far. In his second draft year, Tetro McMillan, Nick Scorton, Princey Manamiran, man, I think the defense they've already improved vastly, at least the average at free agency. With what they did, those two bookends, those are your defensive ends. If things work well, those are your two defensive ends for the future. DJ Wonnum, Jadeveon Clowney, they are not going to be here forever. You got those two guys, and you got Derek Brown in the middle, and you got Billy Brown, and you got Turf Wharton. Whoa. That defensive line is looking damn scary. And now, if you can maybe get a later round pick on a linebacker, I'm all in. I'm all in. Take another fly out of running back. I said before, I think the Panthers are going to leave this draft with at least one running back. Not two, but one to round out this draft. Let me know in the comments below how you feel. Like, subscribe, spread the word. See you guys soon.